Well, happy Friday. Welcome to our FEVOforum presents Black Friday and Cyber Monday strategies. I'm Josh. I run business operations for the company. Really excited to kind of kick this off. We have a terrific panel who will be introduced in a minute or two here. We also have two really awesome moderators from FEVO, Lillian Lee and Aaron Paris. Lillian is on our digital team. I have a ticketing background. Lillian is such a great resource for our clients. I've learned so much about targeted marketing, data-driven marketing, and just generally digital marketing strategy. So Lillian's going to be a great resource for you guys. Aaron, manages a lot of our client relationships. He's super thoughtful, really good from a ticketing background expertise. And obviously we have, four of our favorite clients on the panel as well. I thought before we get started, and Lillian and Aaron kind of go into the agenda, I'd start off by acknowledging what a really challenging and tough year it's been, especially for our industry, both personally and professionally. A lot of change this year. We're working from home. We're isolated. It's been a rough year from a business standpoint. Look, our businesses basically went to zero, guys. We're in a no revenue world. In some cases, negative revenues. We've seen colleagues, friends get furloughed, layoffs, budget cuts, etc. So it's been challenging. I do think that, as it relates to COVID, we're kind of more than halfway across the bridge back to normalcy. And, the thing about crisis is it breeds innovation, right? And over the last few weeks, our team has really, been pretty optimistic and bullish about what the next few months look like. We have clients selling, virtual events. We have clients, doing merchandise packages, bundles, vouchers for future games that might not be announced yet, right? So I think after 8 months, our industry is starting to rally and people are being super clever, super creative, and trying to figure out, how to add value to their organizations, drive some revenue, and I think ultimately, engage their fans. So that kind of leads me into, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. One thing that I think is really important to kind of show and make sure that we double down on is, despite the pandemic, right? The National Retail Federation is actually tracking that retail sales and how people spend money are actually still growing year over year, right? So there's actually a lot of analysts on Wall Street who track retail, and they're actually predicting higher than ever sales for the holidays, guys. Deloitte came out with a study that said holiday sales are going to be up 1% to 2%. Why is that? Well, it's been a tough year. We're all stuck at home. Our kids can't see their friends. Why not double down and get people gifts or something meaningful that can make them feel better, right? Like, let's take care of our people and take care of our friends and family. The other thing, right, is if you actually look at this graph, this is retail sales adjusted. This is kind of a crazy chart because you can actually see, the trend line going up. We see the massive dip from the COVID pandemic, and here we are back to growing again. So the reason I want to kind of start off with this from a big picture perspective is, if you can be innovative and clever and come up with promotions, something out of the box, right? I understand sometimes there isn't even a schedule or games to sell against yet, right? So we have to kind of curate new products and new packages for our consumers. But ultimately, people actually have their wallets out and are willing to spend. And if you guys aren't necessarily surfacing or promoting products to your consumers, they might go spend their holiday dollars elsewhere, right? So I think this is a really interesting opportunity to be creative. And ultimately, I think that as partners in the space, we could actually collectively kick off a new sales cycle together right now, starting with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the upcoming holiday season. And from there, hopefully we get some good news on a vaccine, and it's early 21 and we're kind of into that sales cycle and starting to trend back to normalcy. So we're optimistic. We're here to support you guys. And with that, I will kick it to Lillian and Aaron, who are going to start today's panel. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. I'm going to move you over to the attendees slot now. Smile. Cool. Hi, everyone. My name, like Josh said, is Lillian Lee. I'm the Director of Digital Marketing and Strategy here at FEVO. I'm joined today with Aaron. He's our EVP of Partner Success, along with all of these beautiful guest stars that I'll let introduce themselves. Aaron, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. Thanks, Lillian. Thanks, Josh. Really excited. We got a great panel today, guys, and just some experts in the industry that we really are excited to hear from. For my intro, Josh mentioned it. I'm one of our EVPs for Partner Success. Been with FEVO about 2 years. But prior to that, spent the first 10 years or so of my career in the college space. So I have a lot of expert or at least background in that and a lot of relationships there. So excited to impart a little bit of that. But let's get to the panel. Kurt Whitlow with the Chiefs. Kurt, can you give us a little background?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm the group sales manager for the Kansas City Chiefs. I've been with the Chiefs for over 12 years, been 7 years as the group sales manager. I kind of oversee our day-to-day group department and just look at ways to generate revenue for the Chiefs on the group spectrum.
Very cool. Ashley with the Giants, can you give us a little background on yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. My name is Ashley Connor. I'm the Senior Manager of Ticket Solutions here in San Francisco. I oversee our Strategic Operations Department, which I think is fairly unique to San Francisco, but I definitely believe is the future of ticketing. So we focus on ticket strategy, product innovation, technology solutions, and kind of really delivering that first-in-class fan experience from ticket purchase to gate scan, right? More importantly, I am the coordinator of chaos here at the Connor household. So I manage day-to-day operations of a 6-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son who very likely could pop up behind me without warning. So you've all been warned. They may show.
We're teaching second grade in kindergarten in my house. So if you hear screaming in the background, just let it go, guys. Quinn, hop on here real quick. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Quinn Branson. I'm the Director of Ticketing at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Prior to that, I was with SMU Athletics and FC Dallas. But just to give a little extra context on what Circuit of the Americas is, since I know we're not as widely known as some of the other panelist organizations. Located in Austin, we're a Formula One purpose-built track since 2012. Hosted just about every major racing series in the world, in addition to X Games, concerts at our amphitheater, and we also have a soccer stadium on site where we host a USL Championship soccer team, as well as Major League Rugby.
Awesome. Thank you, Quinn. Appreciate it. Tyler, last but not least, man.
What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Wolford. I am the Ticket Systems Manager for the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm coming into my 5th season with the team, but I've been in the industry since 2006. With the Flyers, I basically oversee everything ticket ops related, back end, getting everything set up on sale, discounts, promotions, and dealing with all the yearly manifest and config changes.
Awesome. Thank you guys. We're so grateful to have you guys here. Can't wait to dive in. But before that, I want to thank everyone else for joining us for our first of many strategy sessions. This one, as you guys know, this is focused on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, one of the biggest e-commerce days of the year. Before we dive into some of the campaign specific questions, I wanted to just lay some groundwork and shoot up some quick facts on the state of online shopping today, like Josh did, just to keep in your back pocket, in the back of your mind. So fun fact number 1, I think the most exciting thing that we want to share, and just to echo Josh again, is that e-commerce sales are set to hit almost $800 billion by the end of the year, which is a 30% year-over-year increase, which is totally massive. Fact number 2, we'll get in again into some offer specific examples and additional points, but overall, Some of the most frequently listed reasons for those who don't complete their online purchase are 1, account creation or having to log into an account to check out, and just an overall long, complicated or not transparent checkout process. And then last fact, the majority of online shoppers are browsing on smartphones, and over 51% of them will complete their purchase on the device. With that said, almost 30% of them will abandon their purchase if the checkout experience is not optimized for mobile. So now that we have that established, I'm going to kick this over to Erin to drive us into our panel discussions in just a little bit. But before we do that, I also have a friendly reminder that we'll have a good portion of time after our panelists share for a Q&A round. So we'll leave a little bit of time after discussions for people to ask, but feel free to drop anything into that Q&A window during our discussions. So Erin, why don't you take it away?
Got it. Thank you, Lil. Appreciate it. I think that context really makes sense, guys. And you know, as Josh and Lillian both mentioned, it's hopefully going to be a time where we can kind of ramp back up and drive some of the revenue that's obviously at a premium considering, you know, the last 8 months or so. But let's get right into it. Tyler, you guys, Santa Sacks, obviously huge offer, did really, really well. Would love to hear, you know, more of the specifics around that, what you guys did and you know, how that performed, if you're willing to share.
Yeah, sure. So Santa Sacks is an offer we run at the Flyers, and it has been active, I've been told, for over 20 years. So a bit before I got there, and it's a staple for our fan base. It's it's the biggest promotion of the year, so it's a giant undertaking. Involves you know, many meetings and work from several departments at our building to roll this out. The package, as it was last year, just to give you a quick background on that, is a bundle of an option of 204 tickets for a Flyers game if you're choosing, a autographed puck or stick if you upgrade to the stick option, some tickets for the Wings, which is a lacrosse tenant team in our building, and a ornament of our beloved mascot Gritty, which I assume a lot of you know who and what he is now. Took the world by storm, and this will be the 3rd year of putting a Gritty ornament into this package, and it's definitely driving a lot of sales. And then finally, it comes with a gift bag, so you know, it's presentable for a Christmas gift. So it was our first year last year doing this with FEVO, and it was a massive success. FEVO was great to work with. You know, everything was done very promptly, getting this set up. There was a lot of communication back and forth, and they're always willing to help out with our constant edits and testing and ability to pull reports. And then, you know, this holiday weekend where we set record sales. So basically our strategy for the holiday weekend discounts were no fees, which was all 4 days from Black Friday through Cyber Monday. And in addition to that, we did a 25% off of 4 select games to basically move some distressed inventory. And that particular offer on Monday, along with the no fees, set an individual record sales day of our, you know, Santa Sack campaign. And the Black Friday discount alone had an increase of 74% year over year. So did very well with all that. Other things we've typically looked at doing during that time is maybe, you know, I mentioned before, there's just a puck or a stick autograph. The stick, you get to choose a player. So sometimes we'll switch it up and add, you know, a new player in there as an inventory to spice that up and move some tickets. And another big day that we usually run, which is later in the, probably a couple weeks after the holiday weekend, is our last guaranteed delivery date before Christmas. So during that, we always do no fees, and that outside of the holiday weekend is probably our biggest sales day. As I said before, Gritty is a huge addition to this, moves tickets. But, you know, I'd be lying if I said the team doesn't have something to do with it. You know, it's obviously everybody that works for a team, it's helping if they're going to win. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I think my first year with this, when we went on sale, the Flyers went on a 10-game losing streak immediately. So not helping sales. Last year, a little bit of a different story. I know it didn't end the best for us, but we were the 1 seed going into the playoffs before everything kind of came to a halt. But having that team success definitely helps drive this package too. You know, we're not gonna lie about that. But, marketing, like I said before, a lot of departments involved with this, and marketing did a great job teasing ads and with all their paid social campaigns. And, basically FEVO's mobile-friendly platform is, an ability to social share was a huge driving force for this holiday weekend campaign, and probably the big reason that I was asked to be a panelist here.
Yeah, 100%. Tyler, thank you so much for sharing, man. It's I love the way that you took advantage of the flexibility of the platform, right? I mean, I think, the ability to have those type in fields and those type of things, it can be difficult just in traditional sales models. And so you guys do a great job of innovating with that. So well done. Kurt, tell us about your offer, man. Why you chose that, maybe specifically for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, and how that worked out.
Yeah, with us being in a unique situation of team success the last 2 years of going to the AFC Championship game and then this past season winning the Super Bowl, our group inventory has went down compared to what it was 3-4 years ago, obviously. But we have strategically kept group tickets available to generate additional revenue outside of season ticket sales. With that said, we don't really offer group discounts at this point. We just have kind of done away with those. But we do still do campaigns like our no fees for Black Friday and Cyber Monday through FEVO the past year, targeting colder weather and kind of late November games that sometimes we have a little less groups coming to the games and such. So we chose to use FEVO for these offers strictly because of the mobile friendly aspect and the social sharing of their platform. We saw great success for both offers. We did a strong Facebook and Instagram ad campaign around these offers, and with that being said, we had an average of 10 times ROA against our revenue spend, which we thought was very successful and one of the higher ones we've done from my time being here. So we didn't do any pre-advertising leading up to the offer. They were simply launched the day of and ran until midnight, and all it was really just taking the fees away. So there was no fees. They were at the single game rate, and people could purchase anywhere in the stadium, whether it was lower level, upper level, or club level, on what inventory we had available for those games.
Very cool. Yeah, I think, a lot of times we're thought of as kind of a groups tool where it's, hey, it's just, distressed inventory or upper level stuff. I think you guys do a really nice job of one, managing your pricing to maximize, whether that's through us or TM or anybody else, but also, having different options and offers out there is important, I think, for your fan base. Ashley, can you give us some details on your Cyber Monday offer, how you guys launched it, and how that worked out for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Lillian mentioned Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of being like the kickoff to the holiday shopping season. And the Giants for the last, 10 to 12 seasons have really made that a big focus. Even thinking back to my time with tickets.com, the Orange and Black Friday for the Giants was one of our largest on sales and supported by so many different departments. And the industry has slowly started to change. So gone are the days of like the virtual waiting room on one of those on sales or the fan lining up in the middle of the night at the box office. And we needed to change with it. So we kind of took, our strategy that I kind of feel like we've perfected with our flash sales throughout the 2019 season and applied them to Cyber Monday last year. So we targeted a $5 and $8 price point. And we, like Tyler mentioned, kind of looked at our distressed inventory and selected games and sections that might otherwise go unsold till closer to the day of a game. And, we were strategic in that we targeted seat sections that did not contain season ticket members because we want to protect the integrity of their seats and their price point, knowing we're going at a very low $5 price to get in. That allows you to later be able to, be more intentional and more aggressive with the inventory you have left. But the key to that is actually pushing volume during one of these flash sales. So how do we do that, right? We set it up as a limited time offer. So it was 24 hours. It started at 10 a.m. on December 2nd. So that would have been Cyber Monday. And it went to 10 a.m. the next day. We did paid social. So Facebook, Instagram. We did the site takeover on club.com for those of you that are familiar with the MLB sites. which included the, somewhat annoying but always effective interstitial pop-up that you see when you go to club.com. We targeted a midday afternoon email that said new dates just added. So really kind of recapturing that buyer that may have bought in those first few hours by adding additional dates. And then one thing we did that's kind of like a mainstay now in our marketing is this last chance kind of final email right before the sale ends. So 1 hour prior to the ending of the sale, we blast our RU list like this is your last chance, really capitalizing on that like fear of missing out and encouraging people to buy before the sale is over. When done correctly, it does give you the opportunity to do, higher price tickets and move better seats later down the line.
Yeah, I loved how you guys came back with that. I think it's really important when people are excited and they've, whether they come back and buy or they push that out to their friend, and it's a reminder to do so. And I think, you guys did a great job of that.
Yeah.
Well done, Ashley.
Thanks.
Quinn, give us some details on your, your Black Friday, Cyber Monday. What led you to use FEVO for that campaign?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've got several properties kind of under the CODA umbrella, but our go-to Cyber Monday offer has historically been focused on the racing side of things. So for the past 6 to 7 years, we've been selling a season pass. It includes general admission weekend tickets for all of the races that are on our calendar the following year. It's ranged from 3 races up to 5 or 6 races, just depending on, what the schedule looks like. Bundled together, they're saving about 30% off the retail price of all those races combined. To the customer, provides a really good value for our high demand events, Formula One, MotoGP. And then for us, in addition to that, we're able to get some ticket sales early, for some of our smaller race weekends. So overall, it, works really well for us. So the main reason we choose to put it on FEVO is the ease of purchase for the customer. So we recognize that the fans' attention span, especially during this holiday spending time, is extremely short. So the ability to close a sale within 2 to 3 clicks is huge for us. And then furthermore, eliminating the account creation, there's less opportunity to abandon the cart. And then it actually gives us an opportunity to follow up after the holiday season to get to know our fans and then introduce them to their Ticketmaster account manager site.
Yeah, very cool. I think to your point, that kind of lack of account creation produces a lot of brand new buyers, right? New to your database, and then you're able to take them up the funnel as that goes for you guys directly with Ticketmaster. I'll speak really quickly to my side of things, guys. Prior to coming to FEVO, like I said, I was on the partners side. So most recently at the University of Arkansas, associate AD there. For us, we utilize FEVO Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holidays as we led up there. And we had a really good strategic leadership group that really wanted to focus in really on buyer behavior, right? So, around the holidays, we wanted to know what moves the needle outside of just traditional discounts. In some cases, we didn't have the inventory to do that or otherwise. So for us, we focused just on a couple of things, right? Like, who is actually buying, right? So in a lot of cases, people who are spending on Black Friday aren't really your traditional fans. They're just as likely really to be buying for someone else, in their life, right? So the key, in my opinion, is really providing that varying options, both from a pricing and an experiential standpoint. We all have that person in our lives. For me, it's my father-in-law, right? He's a crazed fan of a specific NFL team. And I would guess 75-80% of the gifts he opens on Christmas or any gift, right? Birthday, whatever it is, are based on that team, whether it's calendars, it's tickets, it's merchandise, it's experience, whatever it is. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. Like, they're shopping for someone in their lives who loves your team or your organization. And so making it really easy for them, but also providing multiple options was really key for us. How do we make it easy, right? From our perspective, when I was at Arkansas, and now obviously on the FEVO side, the multi-game kind of event item option really was the easiest way to display. Quinn and Ashley, I think, both hit on that, but from a college perspective, we were able to display different sports all at the same time, right? So obviously this is a strange year, but normally right now we'd be talking about football, men's and women's basketball, volleyball, wrestling, et cetera. So the ability to display that and hit people in different ways was really important to us. You know, and then finally, I think living native to the brand was really important. I think Tyler, I'll probably come back to that with you later because your page did that really, really well. But like that ability to stay on brand right there and just slide out was really crucial from my perspective, from our holiday campaigns. But you know, just speaking to the college side of things, I think that's really where we saw a lot of success and drove a ton of revenue. I think borderline six figures, just even at the University of Arkansas. So it was a great outlet for us.
Thanks, AP. Yeah, and just from a marketing perspective, I wanted to share some of the ways that I love FEVO and promote FEVO to our clients. So like when I joined FEVO a little over a year ago, one of the most like exciting things about the platform that drew me in was the built-in social sharing functions and all of those organic marketing efficiencies that provides. So essentially, when you use social sharing, not only are you empowering your most excited fans, the ones that they're always gonna tell their friends and grow these groups organically anyway. But when you give everybody their unique individual share link, you really get down to like the nitty gritty individual purchaser data that you normally wouldn't get, say, if Aaron bought 4 tickets for himself and his friends. So you get that granular data, you have the option to pay separately. So you get data back on everybody, as well as that larger network effect. And then from there, as just a marketer, you can tailor your marketing efforts to target those mobilizers, or you can create lookalike audiences off of them for all of your future campaigns. So to me, that's like a massive value add and like one of the main ways that marketers who use FEVO really maximize their campaign spends. So on that note, I want to segue over to the panel and ask if everyone could just share how they prepped and executed on their marketing plan. I know we touched on that a little bit, but you know, just some tactical specific things that your teams did to make your offers such success. So for Kurt, I know you touched on this earlier, but why did you select the no fees option for your guys' Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer?
Yeah, for us, kind of like I said earlier, like we're in a unique situation where we're not having to heavily discount tickets at this time due to the team's success on the field. Yeah. So we just chose the no fees to kind of move the needle there for some late November, early December games that sometimes are tougher to sell, like legit group tickets to, because companies don't want to maybe bring their best clients or their employees out to a December game in Kansas City when it's 30 degrees. So we obviously have some tickets sometimes to move under those circumstances. So we just thought this was a unique way with FEVO and being able to do it through, like I said, Instagram, Facebook. We just did a strong ad campaign on there through those 2 platforms, and we saw huge success.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Very cool. You know, I think I saw a question come in, so I'll just kind of address it because I think it applies to that. As far as no fees through FEVO, there's 2 options for doing so. Obviously, you can take those fees on yourself, and then you're just getting paid out less within that. The second option would be all-in pricing, which I think, Kurt, I think you guys took them on, but all-in pricing is essentially the fees are brought into the cost of the ticket, and so there's no fee, but from a consumer standpoint, but obviously those fees are still tacked into the price. So essentially, it just adjusts the price of the ticket. So depending on what your strategy would be, that, you know, just to take that one out of the queue, I think that's a great question and one that we could talk to. And
for us, we just took the fees on.
Right.
So we just took some less money for those games.
Yeah. Ashley, I'm going to transition this to you. So Kurt kind of mentioned, right, lack of inventory and having those struggles. I think for you guys, the perception was a little bit that, but trying to flip that on its head a little bit. Can you speak to that for us?
Yeah. So, you know, I think a lot of people attending today, you know, are aware we held a 530 game sellout streak. Shout out to the Boston Red Sox who hold the record for the league. But with that great success came a lot of challenges. How do you let a market know that you have great inventory to sell? And through FEVO, we kind of organically got that message out. So it was 2017 when we did our first FEVO offer. We did a few offers with them in 2018 and then really shifted our focus to flash offers and special events using FEVO. And that allowed for that natural word of mouth to occur using the social share. So it let local fans and outside of the Bay Area know that the Giants do in fact have great inventory available to purchase on the primary market, which for a long time, the message was we were sold out. So big thanks to FEVO for that.
Yeah, very cool. I think that's something that probably others on this call are facing. So great insight there. Thank you. Lil, I'll kick it back to you.
Cool. Well, my next question is for Quinn. I really wanted to ask about your bundle offers. Like, what made FEVO the right platform for offering your events as a bundle option?
Yeah, so the biggest factor for us anytime we choose to go with FEVO is like I mentioned earlier, it's that ease of purchase. But Aaron touched on that was big for us was the multi-offer event page. So for Cyber Monday this past year, what we did was we created a few competing offers to go up against our Cyber Monday, our season pass, which kind of showed that value. So we created two offers that were individual race specific, an IndyCar and a MotoGP ticket merch bundle that was at a much lower price. So having that multi-event page, the customer is able to see, the value in the season pass, which is kind of what we're really wanting to push. So, while those smaller offers did return a nice return, they really drove sales, and we ended up doubling our season pass sales year over year. And then, the extra sales that came along with those other two more affordable offers was kind of gravy on top.
Yeah, totally. I think the theme of the panel is, transparency, a good customer experience, the option to display all of your events at once. I think just to echo some of the earlier points, a straightforward, simple, transparent flow is going to be a key to a lot of this. So thanks for doubling down. My next question is for Tyler. Just on that same note, the Flyers webpage is super interactive, easy to navigate. I love what you guys did with the different types of buyers, giving them options to shop based on, the game and date or in a specific area in premium or lower level sections. Can you tell us a little bit more of how that came about, why you chose that option?
Yeah, so our marketing and website team did a great job with that. A lot of thought went into a lot of back and forth on how they wanted that purchase flow to go. So basically our available games prices were bucketed into each package to be as clear as possible, easy to navigate for best customer experience. I know I touched on the packages a little earlier, but I didn't clarify that, for each one, we have a lower level option, an upper level option, and a club level option. And the club level is the one that has the stick package. So like our focus was to highlight those packages. You click from there, then has all your games broken out. And, obviously graphics, our graphics team, that plays a big part in getting that up to, something that pops, highlights the Christmas colors, clearly shows the price of like your all-in starting price. So the customer knows where to click from there and gets the message across for what they're going to select. And obviously highlights gritty where we can.
I was going to say, of course.
Always gritty, right?
Yeah, totally. As Aaron mentioned, like revenue is at a premium given the last 8 months. And I think just looking at the Q&As and some of the chat input, Tyler, I wanted to kick this back to you. Just kind of what's your plan for this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the Santa Sacks, how you guys going to execute and things like that?
Yes, so it's in talks, but we are for sure doing Santa Sacks again, and we're currently working on all the logistics of not having a schedule at the moment, and along with when it does come out, what socially distanced capacity restrictions we're going to have. So at the moment, that's what I can share is we are doing it, and we will most likely for sure be doing no fees again. That's always a staple that does well for us. As far as discounting, since we don't have that scheduled games yet, at the moment we're booking a lot of smaller events. The city of Philadelphia just kind of opened up capacities for some events we could be holding. So the whole month of December, we're going to have a parking lot holiday light show. So we will most likely be looking to tie a discount into that to our holiday weekend offers.
Cool. Yeah, I love that approach, like planning ahead regardless of what's to come. There's always ways to work around kind of the restrictions, but get creative with it. And I think that's just a great note to end our discussion on. We're kind of closing out on time, and I want to give a good chunk to Q&A. So one, I want to thank everyone for sharing your successes and how-tos. I want to open up the floor to Q&A. I'm going to leave some additional time right now just so that everyone can get some questions in, but we have a ton of attendees today. So if we don't get to everyone's, which we won't, but feel free to, reach out to bd@fevo.com if you have any questions that we don't get to.
Yeah, I've got one coming in. Lillian, I'll probably kick this one to you just because I think it's very marketing related. What's the number one mistake that marketers and sellers make when it comes to holiday campaigns? How does that, anybody else can answer too, but I think Lil, that's kind of right up your alley, right?
Yeah, for sure. Every campaign is different. Every team's or every, promoter's campaign is different, but I think in order to get ahead of everything, I can't stress the importance of planning ahead. Like that goes for campaigns outside of holidays as well. But for me, I think it just does a huge disservice to your fans and your marketing efforts to not have all your ducks lined up before you rush into execution. So, before every campaign for me, I just want to make sure that all the tracking and analytics and paid media tags are firing correctly. All the marketing orchestrations are in place and you're driving traffic efficiently and you're collecting the right audiences and you're just maximizing your options. And when you have that time, you have the flexibility to optimize your message and your targeting and your creative, and that's one of the reasons why we kind of wanted to kick this off, add this to our programming, because we're about a month out at this point, and I think that's a solid amount of time to plant some seeds and get wheels spinning, and how we can all collectively chat and brainstorm about how to approach the holidays creatively and effectively.
Yeah, for sure. Quinn, I think we talked a little to this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but from that perspective, touching on kind of what Lillian said and sort of some of the stuff I know you guys are rolling out, Tyler, very similar, the holiday piece around the track. Can you speak to that a little bit and kind of, why you guys have chosen the options that you have to kind of get out ahead of it sooner than later?
Yeah. We, right now we're kind of focusing on what's right in front of us. So similar to what the Flyers are doing, we're going to have a holiday drive-through event, Peppermint Parkway, that's launching, I think next week or the week after. And we're going to drive all the sales through FEVO. And again, it's just that ease of purchase and no account creation and trying to lock up those sales. And then we'll probably, come up with a Cyber Monday offer to push towards some weekday events for that. But yeah, right now it's, what's right in front of us and go get it type attitude.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love all the virtual events that are happening. I think there's, if you have the space and the option and the resources, I think that's the way to do it. Everyone's trying to be festive around the holidays, so adding that kind of option to the list of activities and events is gonna be super key for the community and the fans. I wanted to actually ask Aaron this. What's one of your favorite ideas or campaigns you've seen from a partner? Obviously, everyone included here, but something new or outside of this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I got to think. This one literally came across today, so it's one of my favorites already because I think it's fun and it's playful and it's something that really every team could do. But basically, our friends at the University of South Carolina, great partners of ours, put together an awesome campaign today, basically where you can order a sack of coal to be delivered to in their case, probably a Clemson fan, like a rival fan, right? And it's just kind of fun. So you can go on there and purchase, you can put that person's address in there and literally it's delivered in like a Gamecock Santa sack style bag and just kind of a playful way to kind of get back at somebody, whether that's in your office or a neighbor or a friend. And I think it's, when they brought it up, I thought it was really interesting because a lot of these questions, and we'll get to them here shortly, but are, what are things that you can do without some certainty around schedule and other things? And I do think there's still ways to market tickets and push those out. Tyler's already spoken to that a little bit, but virtual events, fun things like that, where it's kind of a gift bag and those type of things. But the cold deliveries, I think, are hilarious. So that's one, it hasn't launched yet, so I can't speak to the success, but I really think it'll do really well. I've got a couple neighbors here locally who I might send those to if one of my local teams were to put that on. So I think that's a fun one. Hopefully that answered your question, Lil.
No, I love it. I think I'm just perusing the questions now, and I think the bulk of it is just like, how can we host virtual events? Like, what ticket assurance message can we just some one, options and variety of experiences, and two, how can we mitigate a lot of fans' concerns about not set schedule,
lack of clarity, right?
Yeah, exactly. How can we reassure, how can we get messaging out there that yes, we're putting out games, yes, we're pushing out offers, whether that's like a voucher for a future game or something along those lines.
Tyler, can you touch on, just because you guys just launched this, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but to answer a lot of those questions, right? You guys just launched 5 or 6 different virtual campaigns.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily holiday related, but in theory could be. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so our group sales department has launched a series of virtual events. They're themed. I know there's like a scout night one. There is a swimmers night, a golf night, among others. And basically, they've gotten some panelists for our golf one. For example, they have Gary Player, who is a all-time Hall of Fame golfer, who's going to be talking on a webinar like this. Your purchase of this event bundle, basically, back end wise, we're going to apply some money to that virtual event, and then the rest of the money is going to flow into basically deposit account credit for a future game. So their purchase, is getting that virtual event game tickets, and they have some kind of swag in there typically. For the golf one, they have a driver cover head with gritty, just stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's an important part, and you touched on it perfectly, because I think the item is great, right? But you're rolling that account credit forward, and we all know, at least for most of us, a lot of money has been lost, right? I mean, almost every team that we work with, and I think across the country and probably the world, is in a situation where revenue is at such a premium, and going ahead and bringing that in and being able to apply it, that's great, because it's money that's in the door, right? And you guys can kind of start banking and forecasting on that. Yep. Ashley, one that came in for you, let me pull back up to it because I wanted to bring it up. How do you protect the team, from resellers purchasing at discounted seats and during your flash sales and obviously flipping those?
So great question, and definitely something we take into consideration every time we offer one of our flash sales at a deep discount. So the first thing we do is we have disclaimers on our landing page, I think even in the FEVO flow, that addresses if these tickets are being purchased for the intent of reselling, we will return them without notification. Another deterrence is we do a 48-hour before game delivery of barcode. So they really don't have any access to their barcode to sell on a secondary website, which I think helps alleviate a lot of the broker activity. And then our analytics team runs a report comparing, broker lookalike activity. So we know some of the brokers and they're identified in their system or in our system, but we take activity that, it's a New York address and they bought games throughout the entire season and not really concentrated in one weekend. So what's the likelihood that this is someone visiting? And those 3 things put together, so the warning at time of purchase, delayed barcode, and then our backend analytics really helps us prevent any broker activity.
Great. A really good question too. I think it probably applies to a lot of us. So thank you, Ashley, for handling that. One that came in, and Lillian, maybe you can answer, and you guys as well, please, but how important is email to your Black Friday / Cyber Monday promotions, and how often do you push that email? From my perspective, when I was on the partner side, and what I encourage is kind of teasing things up, right? Whether that's as soon as right after Halloween, like, hey, look for something coming. Because I think we've mentioned this, but like maybe it was in one of the questions. People know they're going to spend money around the holidays. They literally budget for that. And so I think making sure you're on the radar is important. But guys, you know, as far as cadence in that, does anybody have a recommendation, Lillian or anybody else, as to how you would do that, both obviously via email, if there's social? I know Kurt, you mentioned paid ads and other things. Bill, I don't know if you want to take that one. Any panelists as well could have that.
Yeah, I'll just chime in real quick. Like for me, email is such a big converter for sales. It's just a direct channel to reach people who have signed up and actively, explicitly asked for communications from your org. So I'm a fan of email. I think that's a great way to drive traffic. It's a great way to kind of fuel your paid media audiences. As far as Cadence, I think that the best route is to get ahead of the kind of buzz and the chatter of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just to get it out there. I think a month, 3 weeks ahead of time is a good initial outreach, and then double down once we get closer, because you're going to be fighting a lot of inbound sales emails.
And I think to your point, Lil, it's even if you don't have exact details, I know some of us don't already on this call, probably that something's going to come, right? Even if it's just a ticket sale, even if it's just something super basic, but you want to make sure that you're teeing that up and it's in the back of their mind. And we all know the sales rule. You have to see something so many times before it's actually purchased. So I think it's really important to and maybe veiled secrecy is even more impressive. Like don't necessarily tell them what it is, but hey, you're going to see some sort of Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday style offer from us, the organization. Great question here. Would love to kick it to the panel too, but what advice would you give to others in the industry whose leadership, whether that's sales or marketing or otherwise, might be hesitant to push sales campaigns right now, kind of are paralyzed by the current situation with so much unknown in 2021. I've got my own thoughts, but guys, I'll kick that to the panel if anybody wants to take that first.
For us, we obviously are having fans at our stadium. We're having about 16,000 fans right now. So for us, we're kind of an outlier compared to maybe Tyler and Ashley from that standpoint.
Yeah, I know with the uncertainty of what next season might look like, our efforts are going to be focused on more of a flexible product. So I think Lillian mentioned it earlier, maybe it was Aaron, but going to market with something that allows the fans to, buy a future game, but not necessarily locking them into a game, a seat right now. So whether it's vouchers, entry level, packages that are, whether based around credit and vouchers, it's kind of where we're at right now, because we just don't know.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's about ensuring or reassuring your fans that whatever is coming, you guys are gonna do your due diligence and make sure everything's safe and make sure that it's inclusive of all of the things that are expected at an experience at one of your games or races. So I think the messaging has to be realistic. Like the fact of the matter is we're here, we're at where we're at. But I think having that communication out to fans is going to be super crucial during these times. And just making sure that you guys are taking every precaution to make sure things are safe and fun.
Yeah, and I would say too, like since we've had fans and just getting to people, so we've been selling games in kind of like 2 or 3 game groupings. So something too to just reassure your fans that if a game is not played, if a game's not game's canceled, those type of things, like having a refund policy in place and upfront and being honest with your fans, I think that honestly has really helped us sell tickets during this time.
Totally.
Whereas if we didn't have that, I think people would be asking that question more and sales would be lacking.
Exactly.
Yeah, along with what Kurt's saying there, just staying engaged with our season ticket holders and letting them know they're a priority. Keep them informed of everything we're doing, and that we're working our hardest to get them safely in the building.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and guys, I agree with everything anybody said, and I think push to do real ticket style offers. If you're having that difficulty and you just and you don't get there, I think there's at least 2 or 3 people on this panel, and Tyler spoke to it, but like doing something virtually, you know, Kurt's crew did a virtual dance team, a virtual dance clinic, right? That's something they do yearly in person, but this year did it virtually. I think Tyler, one of the virtual offers for you guys is similar. So, you know, utilizing your resources outside of just games that are being played is really, really smart and key.
We're also
And just to be clear, I'm not teaching the dancing. Just to be
yeah,
clear.
well, I thought that was clear when we started, but sorry,
we're
Tyler,
also
go ahead.
looking at hosting some movie events. It was going to be drive-in, but we've kind of switched gears and it's going to be indoor now. So the movie will be playing on our brand new Jumbotron. So that should be a cool experience for some fans as well.
Yeah, something in the college world that we've seen a ton of, probably in the pro side as well, but is like kind of watch party packs, right? So several different universities have kind of launched this package where it's like bring the stadium to you. So the Big Ten has no fans other than families. Some of those are launched there, but even if you do have some fans, targeting those people who maybe don't feel comfortable attending games yet, or just they're single game buyers and they can't do it. We've seen a ton of success with several of those. So we can speak further to that, but just packages that kind of encompass, it's a little bit like the Santa Sack, right? With minus the tickets, it's just got some fun stuff that associates with your brand. And again, back to my point originally, you've got these people in your lives who their lives revolve around X team. And so giving something to them and putting it out there in front of them is really, really important. And I think, you know, to the question of how do we get people in front of it, if they're not comfortable with games, which I think these guys answered a great reason why they would be and should be, but making sure you're putting something out there, because to Josh's point at the very beginning, that graph is showing people are going to spend. They're going to spend heavily in the holiday season. It's really, really valuable to go ahead. One question just came in. You have a tough time getting buyers to share the referral links upon purchase. What have been your most effective incentives used to, you know, to have buyers share their code? I'll take that one just from a broader audience, and then if anybody wants to weigh in, please, by all means. But I think where we've seen the most success is in a couple different ways, right? So featuring it, highlighting it, even reminding people of said benefit, right? If there's a benefit to sharing your link, whether that's money back to your nonprofit organization, we see a ton of that. The Pacers do a great job of that through theirs, right? So I'll speak to that one just real quickly because I think it resonates across. I think some of those guys are on here, so thank you for the idea, guys. But basically, they're partnering with the school districts and they're offering a piece of it. And Kurt, you guys did this as well, offering a part of that ticket cost goes back to whatever the charity is or whatever that school is specifically. And then there's some rewards with it, right? So if your school sells the most tickets, maybe a mascot comes out to your school, or if your classroom sells the most, maybe you get to do, you know, high five time, whatever that is. I think incentivizing, and especially incentivizing around either dollars to a specific program that someone's passionate about, or something that gives you an experience, or you or your child an experience. Obviously, there's a lot of moms and dads out there who want whatever the best thing is for their family. And I think that's a great way to incentivize. And then clearly things like scoreboard shout outs and other things where we've seen value, whether that's, you know, bobbleheads, whatever it is that drives pushes the needle. I think the biggest piece for me on that, guys, is making sure that it's highlighted and that it's recommended. We have some teams on Fridays, we'll just follow up and say, hey, you know, your group sold 85 tickets. If you get to 100, you get X, right? And so sending those emails out and reminders, it's a little bit manual, but it does pay off in the end.
Yeah, on the paid media side of things, you can kind of retool the targeting to send that messaging out to those who purchase. So for example, typically with paid media, you have an excluded audience of people who have purchased. So the person who bought this lamp is likely not going to buy this lamp again for a while. So Facebook will automatically exclude that audience from further kind of serving of that ad. But what you can do is take that audience and retool your messaging, retool your creative, and just say, hey, grow groups to gain incentives, or don't forget to share your link to to get XYZ unlock, whatever it is that you guys are promoting. And I think that's an easy way, just like Aaron said, to reach back out to those folks and remind them that that option is available to them.
And something unique we did this year too is I think people there's still enough revenue out there that people are wanting to give back in different ways and help either schools or nonprofits. And Aaron kind of touched like our ticket fundraiser program we've done in the past. But this year we did kind of a unique thing with Super Bowl champion backpacks. So we made these Super Bowl championship backpacks, and basically we sold them, and then it was pretty much one-to-one. So if someone bought one, then we donated one to a local school child that was in need of needing a backpack. So we ran that through FEVO on our employee side and things, and it worked really well. And I think that's another thing that around the holidays and things, sometimes people are looking to donate as well and help out, and sometimes don't know how. Or so if you can come up with a creative program where it's maybe giving back to a nonprofit or charity or something like that, I think that can be huge too during this time.
Yeah, totally.
Guys, I know we're running kind of tight. I got a couple more I'd love to get to, but somebody asked, any thoughts on launching the offer earlier than Black Friday? Are people shopping earlier, and can you capitalize on that? We had quite a few teams do that, right? Whether that's starting your holiday stuff, we have some teams launching them next week, as soon as next week. A lot of people on Monday, the week of Thanksgiving, so kind of getting ahead of it. I do think that Wednesday and Thursday are a little bit dicier, right? Just because, yes, your Walmarts and your Amazons are launching there, but I think you're kind of running into, I'm traveling, I'm doing this or that. So if you were to do it, in my opinion, it should be either a little bit earlier or like, late night, Thursday night, midnight, Black Friday, whatever makes sense. And then another question that came in, is anybody using marketing via text versus email? If so, are you seeing more success? And then how are you, it's kind of a two-part question, but how are you communicating COVID policies on FEVO pages and or during the checkout process? So I can certainly answer the second one really quickly. We can put waivers directly into your offers. We have several teams who are doing that right now. You're clicking that, that you understand the risk associated and, the refund policies that I think Kurt spoke to. There's several different ways we can do that. But I'll tee the other one back. Is anybody using text versus email or in a conjunction? And if so, have you seen success on that?
Text is tricky just from a legal standpoint in most states, I think. But something we have used in the past is push notifications through our Chiefs mobile app. So that's something that if your team has a Chiefs mobile or a mobile app, you can always use push notifications to try to push things out.
Everybody has a Chiefs mobile app. Like Kurt said, I think text is a tricky landscape to navigate just because of legal and a lot of the privacy rules around that. From a FEVO perspective, we're definitely exploring it, and we'll roll that out as soon as we have everything ironed out.
Right. I think it's the importance of the flow and how that actually works, right? You can be a little bit too in someone's inbox. Yes, you're going to get checked. Everyone checks text, but yeah, it's a little invasive sometimes. So I think just being smart about how you do it is key. And totally. I'm not to say it shouldn't be done. I think it's just a little bit different. All right, last question really quickly, because Tyler, a lot of people have asked this. Can you speak to the execution, and you've kind of already have, but for the virtual theme nights, obviously you partnered a little bit with your marketing crew and others. Was that difficult, or obviously you're getting ready to execute those? How do you foresee that going?
You said the virtual events that we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're on sale. Some are selling better than others, but that was, spearheaded by a groups department. And they had some meetings with us just as far as, how are we going to implement it in the back end with our ticketing system, and then working through FEVO. And we came up with a solution that would work. The main piece for us was that having, when something's sold, because it's selling at a set price on FEVO, then on the back end, we're going to be breaking it out kind of manually, so there's money being held for a future game when that happens, when we have that schedule and we know where we can place them. But it's just little things they're doing to try to drive any revenue that we can right now.
Perfect. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. I know we're up on time. Incredible panel, guys. You are all fantastic. We loved having you and love working with you guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks again, everybody, for coming to our first of many strategy sessions. I know I'm just still coming through these Q&As. There's a ton. Quinn will probably field a bunch and relay some about the Peppermint Parkway. I see a couple down there. I know as an Austinite, I will be attending, so I'll see you out there. We recorded this session and we'll distribute it to all the registrants in an email in case you missed anything or you want to share this with your team. And I just want to thank again Josh for jumping on, Aaron, best co-host, all of our panelists and everyone who asked questions and for kicking this off with us. Please reach out to bd@fevo.com if you have any other questions, if you want to brainstorm on any holiday campaigns or really anything else. Cool. Thank you guys.